Hello everyone. In today's session, I'm going to explain about how to calculate first and follow functions for the given grammar. So once calculation of a first and follow function has been done, then we can able to construct a predictive parsing table, and we can also parse the given input string by using the predictive parsing technique. So first we have to look into the rules to be followed to find out the first and follow function. So here we have a first and follow sets are needed so that the parser can properly apply the needed prediction rules at the correct positions. So in the parsing table, we have to place the grammar in its correct positions. To find out its correct positions, before that we need to calculate the first and follow. First look into the first function, then we'll follow with the follow function. So coming to the first function, suppose here we have considering a non-terminal alpha. The first of alpha is a set of terminal symbols that begin in string derived from alpha. So any non-terminal or a terminal, if we are going to be finding out the first of that particular terminal or non-terminal, nothing but a set of terminal symbols that begin in the string derived by this terminal or a non-terminal. So here I have given one example. Suppose consider this production, that is A is deriving some three production 1, production 2 and production 3. So for this given production of A, find out the first of A. If you are asked to find out the first of A, first function of A, so as it is going to be setting, it is given that set of terminal symbols that begin in string derived from that non-terminal. Set of terminal symbols here is nothing but in these three productions, it is going to be considering the first character of each production. The first character of each production will be considered as a first function of that particular non-terminal. So the first function of A will become A, D and G. A, D and G. How many productions are there for one non-terminal? In each production, the first character will be considered, and these characters are differentiated by giving the commas. So the first function of A will become A, D and G. So here are some rules to calculate the first function. Coming to the rule 1, for any production of a non-terminal, if a non-terminal is consisting of epsilon in its production, then we have to consider that epsilon also as the first of that particular non-terminal. That is the first rule. If no other productions, only epsilon is there, then we have to consider that epsilon also as a first function of that non-terminal. Coming to the rule 2, for any terminal symbol of, suppose if small a is a terminal, if you are asked to find out a first function of that particular terminal, then the same will become the first function of a terminal. So here we have taken first function of A will become A. Suppose you are asked find out the first function of B, then it will become B only, right? And coming to the third rule, if a production is like this, if this is the non-terminal, this is a non-terminal, this non-terminal is going to be deriving a set of another non-terminals. So here X is a non-terminal and it derives Y1. Y1 is also a non-terminal. In such cases, you have to consider first of again this non-terminal in the given grammar. So here you can understand. So the third rule is, suppose X is derived with Y1 and Y2. So Y1 is deriving some A. So the first of X equal to first of Y equal to A. We can write like this. Why? Because it's a non-terminal. So we have to move to that non-terminal, and that non-terminal is deriving what starts with some character. That character should be considered here. So always a first function, in the first function only terminals and epsilon is allowed. There will not allowed any non-terminals in the first functions, that you have to remember. And the first function of that particular non-terminal should be enclosed within the flower braces, separating with the commas. And few more rules are there. If any production is consisting of epsilon, then how we have to calculate. So here in this situation, if epsilon is not equal to first of y1, then first of x is equal to first of y1. Suppose just now I have given here. So x derives y1, y2, y1 derives a and epsilon, y2 derives b. If the grammar is like this. So to find out the first function of x is deriving what? The first one is non-terminal. So we cannot take the non-terminal, so that we will move to that production what y1 is actually producing. So in this y1 we have the terminal a as well as the epsilon. So if the non-terminal is not there in the y, then directly we can consider only a will be the first function of x. First function of x will become a. Suppose if epsilon belongs to first function of y1. So first function of y1, suppose if it is epsilon, consisting of epsilon, so it is true. If epsilon belongs to first function of y1, then what we have to do? First of y1 minus epsilon union first of y2, y3. y2, y3 is nothing but whatever remaining in the grammar, that we have to consider here. So first of x is equal to, if there is no epsilon in the given grammar, then it is only a. Suppose here epsilon is there, then what we have to do? We have to do first of x will be first of y1 minus epsilon. So we have to minus epsilon and we have to do union with whatever the remaining available in the x production, y2 and y3. Suppose we have only y2, then we have to consider only y2, union y2. So now what it will become? So first of x will become, so first of y1 is a minus epsilon is nothing but we are not taking epsilon here, comma and union of y2. Union of y2 is nothing but we have to consider first of y2 is b. B also we have to consider, comma epsilon. That is nothing but, suppose we substitute in the production, that is x derives y1 and y2. Suppose we take y1 derives a and y2 derives b, so the string we derived is ab. It's okay. But in the place of y1, if we substitute epsilon, then what will be the string? Only b will be the string. So like that, if we substitute epsilon in the place of y1, the first of x will become y2. In such cases, it has to take the first of y2. So that if the epsilon is present in the grammar, we have to take first of that non-terminal minus epsilon union the remaining non-terminals whatever we have. Suppose we have y1, here it is epsilon and a. In such cases, what we have to take? So x is deriving y1. So first of x will become y1. y1 is a non-terminal, so that we have to take the first of y1. First of y1 is a. So we will take a minus epsilon union a also we have to take. That is, suppose confusion, for no confusion, I will take the one more non-terminal, that is b. So that we have to take the here b. So if in the place of y1 I am going to be replacing with epsilon, then what you have to consider? X derives b. B is a terminal, so if it is a terminal, it can be directly taken. If it is a non-terminal, again we have to move towards that non-terminal and we have to check what the first character is having in that production. Like this we have to calculate the first function if epsilon is present. So here one more case is there. So if epsilon does not equal to first of y2, then first of y2, y3 will become the first of y2 only. If it is epsilon, if it is not epsilon, in such cases, again to calculate first of y2, y3, y2 is not having any epsilon, then directly it can consider the first of y2, y3 and directly it can consider y2. Suppose if again epsilon is available in y2, again it has to take the y2 minus epsilon union what it is remaining with y3. Like that we have to consider how many non-terminals are there. In such in that places we have to give the epsilon and again remaining grammar we have to follow as it is. Coming to the follow function. So follow function of any non-terminal is a set of terminal symbols that appear immediately to the right of that non-terminal, immediate to the non-terminal. Here you have to remember one important point, that the first function will be calculated only for the non-terminals available at the LHS side of a given grammar. LHS side of a given grammar, non-terminals which are present at the LHS side of a given grammar. Whereas follow functions are going to be calculated for each and every non-terminals appear at RHS side of a given grammar. This is the most important difference you have to remember while calculating the first and follow functions. Whereas a first function will be calculated for the non-terminals which appear at the LH side, left hand side of a given grammar, and for follow function also calculated for the non-terminals only, but which are appeared at the RHS side, right hand side of a given grammar. This is a very important difference you have to note down. So to calculate the follow function, any non-terminal, if you are calculating any non-terminal follow function, then it is going to be considering a set of terminal symbols, that appears immediately to the right of that non-terminal, then you have to consider it as a follow function. For calculating follow functions also we have a few rules. We are going now I'll discuss about those rules clearly. So coming to the rule 1 here, for the start symbol yes, definitely by default you have to consider the dollar. So for start symbol yes, if it is appear at the RHS side or if it is not appear at the RHS side, we have to consider the initial state or the start state of a given grammar, and we have to consider dollar along with the follow function. It can have any number of terminals, but dollar is also should be available in that. And coming to the second rule, for any production rule, if it is in the format of A derives alpha B. So here we are going to be calculating a follow function for the non-terminals available at the RHS side, So now if you want to calculate a follow function of B, follow function of B is equal to follow function of A. The follow function of B is nothing but we have to take the set of terminal symbols which are appear immediately at a right of that production. So immediate right of B, there is no terminals. In such cases we have to consider the production non-terminal from where it derived, that is A, so that we are considering follow of A. Follow of B will become the follow of A. That is the rule 2 for calculating a follow function. Coming to the rule 3, if the production is consisting of like this alpha, B, beta, then you are asked to find out the follow function of B. So then if any non-terminal appear immediate right of that non-terminal, then we can take directly that terminals. But if it is a non-terminal, then we have to consider first function of that non-terminal. First function of that non-terminal. Suppose I have A derives A, B, C. Now the follow function of B will become immediate to the B. We have C. If a C is a terminal, then we can take C directly like this. But if C is a non-terminal, then we have to consider follow of B should be taken as first of C. So first of C, already we have seen how to calculate the first function of a given non-terminal. And if this C is consisting of epsilon or not, we have to check. If epsilon does not belongs to first of beta, so if this beta does not consisting of any epsilon, then follow of B equal to the follow of beta. In case this first of beta belongs to some epsilon, then again the same procedure what we have seen in the finding out the first function, that procedure we have to follow. So first of beta minus epsilon union. So after beta there is nothing at the right side, so that we have to consider follow function of A. Suppose after beta we have any terminal, suppose A is there, then we have to take the after beta we have first of beta minus epsilon union, we have to take A. If it is a non-terminal, then we have to take union first of A. But in the given rule, there is nothing at the right side of beta, so that again it has to consider the follow of A. This is the rule 3 of calculating the follow function if the production is in such format. And here few important points are there to remember. Coming to the note 1, epsilon may appear in the first function of a non-terminals. We are going to be finding out or calculating the first function and the follow function only for the non-terminal, so that epsilon can be considered in the calculation of first functions, but epsilon will never appear in the follow function of a non-terminal. Epsilon should not be considered in the follow functions. Only in the first functions we can consider the epsilon. And before calculating the first and follow function, eliminate left recursion from the grammar. So before calculating the first and follow function for the given grammar, you have to check whether a given grammar consisting of any left recursion or not. If left recursion is present, first you have to remove the left recursion and rewrite the grammar without any left recursion. For that grammar, you have to calculate the first and follow function. And previous sessions I have already explained about how to eliminate the left recursion. You can check it out. And the third point here, important note you have to remember is, we calculate the follow function of a non-terminal by looking where it is present in the RHS side of a production rule, whereas a first function will be identified at the non-terminals present at the LHS side of a production rules. So these are the important points you have to remember for the calculation of a first and follow function. So in next session I'll take one example grammar and calculate a first and follow functions for the better understanding. Thank you.